Merry Christmas, people. Today is Christmas Eve, and we start off our end of year lists with our honourable mentions and a list of my favourite albums from the US scene this year. Now, we do have our top 10 UK albums video coming very soon, so stay tuned to that. Subscribe with notifications on, and you'll catch that one. But for today, we've got some albums that I enjoyed this year, but they didn't make the list. Now, 2020 has been an eventful year to say the least. We've had a lot of music coming out of this year, and it's probably the only good thing to come out of this year is the music. Let's be honest, not much has gone right in 2020, but we've had a lot of releases, and obviously with it being lockdown, stuck inside, nowhere's open, you've got nowhere to go, just been sat in listening to music. We've consumed a lot this year, and these are some albums I wanted to shed some light on. One of them isn't from the UK or US, so we didn't make any of the lists, but I wanted to big it up, you get me, and then the others are just ones that didn't make the final list. And then we've got the American list in this video. I didn't do like a top 10, so the American albums are just ones that I enjoyed, no particular order. But stay tuned for the UK one, because I put a lot of work into that video, so that's coming next on the channel. Stay tuned for that one, and let's get right into it without further ado. So the first record I did want to talk about that came out this year is the EP from TK Maidza called Last Year Was Weird Volume 2. Now, this EP for me is a solid 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. It was so hard to find a fault with this project. Every single track was a banger. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you listen to this EP, TK Maidza, by the way, is an Australian singer-songwriter, rapper, musician. She's sick. I want to shout out Sean C and Anthony Fantano for getting me onto this project. I probably wouldn't have checked it out if it wasn't for those two there. But I'm very glad I did check it out. Like I say, this is a solid 9 or 10 out of 10 for me, this project. So I'm looking forward to more TK Maidza stuff. She said that she's got another project on the way, so hopefully that comes around early 2021, or maybe even in like the coming week. We've got a week left in the year now. If she drops again, it'll be a nice end to the year, but she'll probably wait till next year now. But definitely check that one out if you haven't already, or if you haven't heard of it. You won't regret listening to it. Bit of a different style to what I usually listen to as well. I'm normally just into the rap, especially the UK scene with the drill, as you've seen on the channel with the reactions. But definitely go and check that one out, and you won't regret it. Another EP that did come out this year is Treading Water by my brother Dryden. So shout out to Dryden. Gotta give a little shout out to my boy there. You get me? He dropped his debut EP, Treading Water, long time coming. Been working on it for time. It's sick. Go check that one out. My brother, bigging him up, yeah. So go and check that one out. Treading Water by Dryden. Another project which caught my eyes this year, or should I say ears, is Nux with London Class. Now, Nux is an artist who I've not heard music from before. This was the first time I was listening to him. I was expecting him to be a drill rapper. I don't know why. Just from the name Nux, I was expecting him to be a drill rapper or like a grime, something like that. But I can't even describe what sound. You'd have to listen to his album or project to know like the sound, you know what I mean? It's a different sound. It sounds different to the ears. It's a nice switch up to what I'm normally like listening to. So it's definitely a project worth checking out. Like I say, this is honourable mentions. It might have made the top 15 if I had more time with the project. This is a project that I've only just got onto recently, so I haven't had much time to digest it. But definitely one you should check out. Another album that came out this year, which I haven't had much time on, which might have made the top 15 list, which is coming out tomorrow, or well, the day after this video goes up. Another album is Class of 98. Now, big up the 9-8 gang, you get me? Homerton, Holly Street, yeah? These brothers are sick. I probably wouldn't have checked out this album if it wasn't for my guy Ebbs. Shout out to Ebenezer, the review guy, you get me? Check him out on Twitter. If Ebbs didn't push this album as hard as he did, I probably wouldn't have checked this out until way later down the line. But I'm so happy I did, because the 9-8 gang, like, they're so talented, all of these brothers. You got V9, Unknown T, KO, Stally, Billy Billions. You're mad on the hooks with the singy sings. Crazy. Definitely check this one out. Favourite track off this album is probably the freestyling tune with the Hitman skit at the end. It sounds like there's just such a good like energy and vibe between these boys. You can tell that the connection between them is so strong. You see Tim Westwood did like a crib session with them. They're finishing each other's bars, they know like each other's songs, and that freestyling tune there, like you can tell that they're just in the booth, just having fun with it. They're putting on like this New York accent. Speaking of New York, we got the King of New York, rest in peace Pop Smoke t-shirt on today. But yeah, they're putting on like this New York accent, and they just freestyling with it. And the thing is with 9-8 as well is that they come with a certain energy. They're on crud with what they speak with, but they've got that funny side to them as well, like V9 and KO in that freestyle tune, talking about like Hey, bad be on me, I don't force it. Hey, like, and we know who he's talking about there. Yeah, I don't force it. Like who? The way they're doing the ad libs for each other, it's mad. It's mad. And we know that V9 loves to skit Lats as well. He wasn't gonna say his name like Voldemort, but we've said it. Yeah, and he's like, I can't rape like Lats. Are you mad? Crazy. This is a tape that I had to purchase. You know, once I listened to it, I was like, I wish I would have listened to it when it first came out, and I could have purchased it, streamed it up, pushed it, because like those, they didn't even get top 40, which is crazy for how good this album is and how talented this group of lads are. Definitely check out Class of '98, and like I say, every time I listen to this album, it gets better on every listen. So it probably should have made the top 15. If I had more time with it, it probably would have. The next project didn't make the top 15 either, but another project by this same artist did make the top 15. He's been going ham this year. It's M. Huncho with Huncholini the First. Now, this album, when it first came out at the start of the year, dropped on the same day as another album which is in the top 15, which you'll know what album that is once you see the top 15. Dropped on the same day as that, so it didn't get as much love as that other album because the other artist is, I just want to say, bigger than M. Huncho. But you know, this album, like, I really enjoyed it. Like, this was back at the start of the year, January times. I'm traveling to uni every day, headphones in, listening to this album on the bus, on the train, and I'm like, yeah, this is cold. Like, Huncho, M. Huncho is an artist that I'm a big fan of. You know, I like the melodic, like, wave type rappers, you know what I mean? And M. Huncho, definitely one of the best out right now in the UK to do that type of music. So definitely check out that album there. Like I say, when I found out this album came out in 2020, when I'm putting these lists together, my head completely fell off, because I thought this album was definitely 2019, but it feels like everything that came out before the coronavirus pandemic and lockdown, it feels like a different world. Like I say, the album that dropped on the same day as this, Big Conspiracy by J Hus, I've spoiled it, but yeah, J Hus, Big Conspiracy, I couldn't believe that came out in 2020 as well. Like I say, January times before the lockdown in March and coronavirus, feels like a different world completely. But definitely check out M. Huncho. Highlight tracks for me on this one is Eagles, because of the beat switch in the middle, crazy. And the way, I love transitions in music. If you know about me, I love transitions, you know. Check out the Metro Boomin tape, Not All Heroes Wear Capes from 2018. The transitions in that, love it. In this album by M. Huncho, Huncholini the First, you've got the track Blow Off My Cover, which transitions straight into Indulge with D Block Europe on. Crazy transition, and Indulge, crazy tune. I ran that one so much back at the start of the year. You know, you've got Young Ads featuring on there, who's an artist I fell in love with this year. Pause, no homo, but I fell in love with his music this year, I should say. But yeah, Ads definitely killed that one, and so did LB, and so did Huncho, so definitely check out that project. Next, another one that I haven't spent much time with, it's Lowski with Music, Trial and Trauma, A Drill Story. Now, I've only listened to this album twice. One time on my own, and another time I think it was Link Up TV did a listening party to it, and that was the second time I'd fully listened to the project. So I haven't spent too much time with this one, so I can't really give it a fair review, but I'm a massive Harlem Spartans fan. Free Mizzy, you get me, free Miz on Mac. But yeah, check out Lowski's sick. You know what I mean? I've done a few reactions to Lowski on the channel before. His Daily Dubs, we did Anglo-Saxon with Blanco. Definitely check out Lowski's thing, and check out my reactions if you haven't seen them already. And the final honourable mention out of the UK is K-Trap with Street Side Effects. This project from K-Trap was a solid body of work and contains one of my favourite songs of the year, which is Bentayga with D Block Europe. Young Ads goes in on the hook on that album, on that song right there. So definitely check that one out. That hook is crazy. One of my favourite songs of the year, just because of that hook right there from Ads. Now we're moving on to the American albums, best American albums of the year out of the US. Now, like I say, I haven't got a list, a structured list. This is just a list of all of the albums that I liked and enjoyed and I want to shout out. If you want me to sit down and structure a list, do a top 10, 15, 20, maybe put them all in order, I could do that. Just let me know in the comments below. But I'm just going to run through them real quick. As you can see from the wall behind me, you know, we've got Travis Scott, Kid Cudi, Denzel Curry, Tyler the Creator down there as well, Kendrick. We've got J. Cole over there in that corner as well, Freddie Gibbs. I'm a massive fan of the American music. How could I forget Lil Wayne and Tupac and Dr. Dre? But yeah, I'm a massive fan of the American music. So these are my favourite albums of the year out of America. We've got Logic with No Pressure. Obviously, Logic is retired from rap now. He said, I can see him making a comeback in the future, but No Pressure I thought was a solid body of work, you know, to close out on if he definitely isn't coming back. I think that's a solid body of work to leave it on, you know what I mean? Then we've got Big Sean with Detroit 2, another solid body of work for me personally. That's Big Sean's best album some bangers on there, and the return of 2088 as well with Janae Aiko. Love them right there. We've got The Weeknd with After Hours, which would probably make the #1 spot if I was to order these albums. That would probably make the #1 spot. I still need to get the vinyl for it, because I just love that album. You know, it's got one of the best songs of the year as well with Blinding Lights. Definitely one of the best songs of the year. If you haven't heard Blinding Lights, you must have been living under a rock, or you've had the coronavirus and died, because you should have heard that song. We've got Juice WRLD with Legends Never Die. You know, the posthumous release from Juice WRLD. It was just nice to hear some Juice WRLD music and hear his voice again. Not the greatest body of work, but definitely a nice, definitely nice to hear Juice WRLD's voice again. Speaking of Kid Cudi, we're going to have to make space on the wall. We've got Man on the Moon 1 and 2 on the wall there. We're going to have to move Lil Wayne and get Man on the Moon 3 on vinyl and get it on the wall, because oh my god, that album was phenomenal. Yeah, we did a full reaction on the channel. Make sure you check that one out if you haven't seen it already. But that album was absolutely phenomenal. Mr. Solo Dolo Part 3, are you mad? Are you mad? That tune sends me to a different dimension. I love it. You know, we pick up the cognac and we listen to Mr. Solo Dolo Part 3 and we go to space. You get me? We jump in the void, as he says on the record. But yeah, definitely one of my favourites of the year. Huge Kid Cudi fan. So make sure you check out Man on the Moon 3. You won't regret that listen if you're a fan of Kid Cudi, Kanye West, or Travis Scott music. You know, they're the main people who are influenced by Cudi. So definitely check out that album there. And another guy who is on the wall, we've got Freddie Gibbs. He released Alfredo this year, probably rap album of the year, with The Alchemist on the produce. For that, on the Producky, Alchemist, you know, you can't go wrong with Alchemist on the beat, making the beats for you. And Freddie Gibbs is just one of the best rappers, you know, out right now. You know, his wordplay, his flow, he's just so sick. So definitely check that one out. Probably rap album of the year right there. Another shout for rap album of the year, we've got the boys at Griselda. Now, all the main three members of Griselda, who founded that group, you know, they all released an album this year. We had Westside Gun with Pray for Paris, Benny the Butcher with Burden of Proof, and Conway the Machine with From a King to a God. From a King to a God, probably the best out of those 3 records right there for me personally. I know some people put Benny's Burden of Proof above that, but for me, Conway's record was just mad. Definitely check that one out. Another real spitter, we've got Jeezy with The Recession 2. Now, he dropped this the day after, or the night of, his clash with Gucci Mane on Versus. If you remember that, if you stayed up at that one, I was going to go to sleep, yeah, and watch highlights in the morning or something. But the Twitter timeline, my guy Ebbs again, had me staying up for that one there. That was crazy seeing that Versus right there. And Jeezy dropped The Recession 2, listened to it the next day, and I love that record right there. So definitely go and have a look at that one. I'm just a massive fan of that record. You know, I can just play the whole thing without not many skips, and I just let it play through, and I just really enjoyed that record right there. Straying away from the lyrical rap, we've got Gunna with Wunna. Now, I'm a massive fan, like I say, of the melodic wave type flow and sound. So, and Gunna dropped Wunna this year, and oh my god, it's one of my favourite albums of the year. I need to get that one on vinyl. Shout out my guy Dev as well, Miami. He's a massive Gunna fan, probably the guy who got me into Gunna in the first place. But yeah, some of the songs off that album, just crazy. The way Gunna flows, you know, with Gunna, the same with D Block Europe, like I've discussed earlier. You're not listening to those guys for the lyrical content. You know, what he's saying has no substance to it at all. But it's the way he flows over the songs, and what it's just the sound, you know. I'm very much an instrumentalist, if you want to say. Like with Gunna, you've got to listen to that music. It's how the beat sounds and how he flows on it, not what he's saying, the words.
I've been getting it since a time. I keep dollars on my head. Been a real one is my motto. Have my problems, I ain't scared. I put powder on my daughter cause she proud of what I said. I'm a leader, I got no follow in my footsteps like the feds. I shoot like a Montana, chop the bullets, make them shake.
Next up, we've got Drake with Dark Lane demo tapes. Now, I wasn't expecting this drop from Drake. Obviously, he's got a big album, Certified Lover Boy, coming soon. But Dark Lane demo tapes, I was a massive fan of that. We had Chicago Freestyle on there featuring Giveon, which was one of the performances and songs of the year for me personally. You know, we had Desires with Future, which got leaked a while ago, but then this finally came out publicly, and Desires, I'm a huge fan of that song right there. Huge fan of Future. We had Demons as well with Fabio Foreign and Sosa Geek. This was at the time I was getting into the New York scene, bigging up Fabio Foreign and checking out Sosa Geek and all of them, man, there. And then for them two to jump on a tune with Drake and be like, hey, 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 like, it was so sick to see that crossover there. I think we had War on here. Yeah, we did. We had War. Big up Axel Beats. Yeah, I was a massive fan of War. You know, Drake on drill. A lot of people saying, oh, he's trying to copy the UK flow, and Drake just copies Culture Vulture. I think with Drake, he listens to something, if he likes it, he thinks, you know what, I want to make a song like that because I like it. You know, I genuinely think Drake loves music and just loves what he does. So like, I don't throw shade on Drake, you know what I mean? He can do what he wants, there's no rules. Shout out Specs. So if he wants to make a drill song, you can make a drill song, there's no rules, bro, you get me? Another guy you listen to, not for his lyrical content, but for how the music sounds, is Lil Uzi Vert, who dropped Eternal at Take after a long wait, and I wasn't disappointed with this record at all. There's some certified bangers on this record, which I still play to this day. And P2, you know, a reference to EXO Tour Life, and like coming in with the same flow, that just hit me different. When I heard that, you know, the same chorus, but changed the words a bit, that hit me different. You know, I wasn't expecting it, and I was loving it. We've got Don Toliver next with Heaven or Hell. What a record that was. You know, the Travis Scott protege. You know, he's just got a different sound to Travis. He sounds like Travis, but he's got a different, you know, range of melodies. I feel like he's a better singer than Travis. He can hit different notes. So I'm just a massive fan of, you know, Jack Boys as a collection. You know, they'd released that Jack Boys album last year. But Don Toliver, definitely one of the standouts. And definitely off Astro World, if you've heard Can't Say, his feature on there, Don Toliver, crazy. This next album is probably one of the best of the year again. It's Mac Miller with Circles, one that I had to get on vinyl. I've got the vinyl down here. You know, like just an emotional one. Another posthumous release. Probably the best example of a posthumous release that I've ever seen. You know, it really respected the artist. I didn't feel like at any point, there was a point where I was like, you know, Mac Miller wouldn't have wanted this to go out. Not that I knew him personally, but do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I feel like it was a perfect body of work for me. And you know, the tune Good News, it's hard to listen to that song without shedding at least one tear, you get me? But yeah, rest in peace Mac Miller. I'm a massive fan of the guy with Swimming. I've got Swimming on vinyls as well. I thought Swimming was one of the best albums in 2018. You know, The Divine Feminine, I'm a massive fan of that record as well. So to see Mac Miller pass, it was so sad. And to hear this record, it's really hard to get through without getting in your feels, in your emotions. But you know, one of the best of the year for sure. Next up, we've got Future, High Off Life. Like I said, I'm a massive Future fan, and this record was just solid for me. You know, even from the first song, Trapped in the Sun, when that beat dropped.
That yellow Lambo outside, but when I trapped in the sun, that green Ferrari sitting outside when I couldn't make bond.
Yeah, massive fan of that Future record. Definitely one that I had on repeat once it did come out, listening to it loads. Comfortable as well on that record. What a song that was, probably one of my favourites of the year. Comfortable, crazy song right there. Like the way he flowed on that and the way he just felt listening to that song, it's just mad. It's such a mad song. You know, it's one of the best songs of the year in my opinion. And while we're on the topic of posthumous releases, we do have Pop Smoke with Meet the Woo 2. And obviously Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. Just wanted to shout out those records there. We've got the Meet the Woo 1 merch on. Obviously massive Pop Smoke fan, and then Pop Smoke died this year, and they just broke us. You know, me and my boy Yemo and Dryden, we used to listen to Pop Smoke all the time at uni. So this one really hit us. I was on the way to see my boys at uni listening to Pop Smoke, and I get a text saying Pop Smoke's died, and I was like, nah, bro, this can't be for real. I'm literally listening to I Make a Call, It's War. So how can somebody call me and say it's war? It's mad. But yeah, rest in peace Pop Smoke each and every time. Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon just showed that he could do other stuff apart from the drill. Obviously he brought up 808 Mellow and a few other of the UK drill like producers. Got them on a few banging records, and definitely showed love to the UK scene and made that big in America. Exposed a lot more people to the UK sound, obviously because it's UK production, but keeping that New York flow. I've got to shout out Childish Gambino's record as well, because the 21 Savage feature on there, one of the best features of the year, I think. The way 21 came in on that song, especially because when the album first dropped, it didn't show the features, so I wasn't expecting it listening to the record. There was a bit of a gap in the beat, and I'm like, okay, well, is Gambino coming back in here? And 21 came in, and I was like, wow, and his flow was just so sick, so definitely shout out that one there. Ariana Grande with Positions, I really enjoyed that record. I don't think it was as good as the last one, Thank You Next, I can't lie. Just because on that project there, we had 7 Rings, which was one of my favourite songs of the year. You know, that's 7 Rings, the 2 Chains, like bounce and flow to it. And lastly, we do have Jay-Z with a written testimony. Sorry, I mean Jay Electronica. May as well be Jay Electronica x Jay-Z album, because Jay-Z is on pretty much every song. Again, an album that contains one of the best songs of the year. I'm going to have to look up the name of it now because I'm going to butcher it. It's called like AP... All praise is due to Allah, something like that. I couldn't find, like, because it was like an abbreviation, it was like APP something or other. But yeah, all praise is to Allah. And Jay-Z's saying, like, I've got numbers in my phone that I'll never call again, numbers in my phone I can never text again. Keep them there to like remind them of like the memories and stuff. Definitely a hard hitting tune. But this album, you know, it was 10 years in the making, something like that, and it definitely paid off. The wait was worth it, in my opinion. You know, it was good to hear some J Electronica music. It inspired me to write some sort of like J Electronica type music. If you don't know, I make music. Yeah, coming in 2020, more to come. You get me? But anyway, that comes to the end of the list for the American albums and the end of this video. So make sure you stay tuned for the top 15 UK albums that is coming in the next video. I'm going to try and keep it short. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm going to try and keep that one short, but I've got a lot to go into with each album. I've made like a breakdown review for each one. So hopefully it won't be too long, but make sure you watch that one anyway. Hit subscribe, like, comment and all of that. Let me know your favourite albums in the comments below. And I'll catch you in the next video, boys. Take it easy.